theorists. What if Martin had Twitter and all that civil rights talk, man? I wouldn't want to hear it. His integration been disintegrating. Better off in our own ghettos with our own situation. His last speech got him assassinated. Black business was booming. It wasn't just a consumer. Controlling our narrative. We have more marriages and see what the damage did. They ain't that bad a bitch. And welfare did it's way worse than the slavery. I'll never be an agent. I don't care what they pay me. Seem like Nip had the same old story. If we pay a black hater, tell a different allegory. Like Pearl Harbor and
Spicy K, Kai, what's good?
Go the extent to keep their history alive. All I'm saying, if these leaders was alive, who be on the internet trying to divide and use a hotep hustler, trying to fear people of that low vibe structure. Agree to disagree, and we ain't gotta tear our own down. Argue in silence, or forever be our own downfall.
All I wanna say is that we're giving it away. Soul ain't for sale, and the devil is a fake. Argue it in silence, but don't let it steal our faith. Fight behind doors, but don't ever show our face. Cause if Martin had Twitter, Malcolm had Twitter.
Done just finishing up work.
To be our own people do the trolling.
Working.
Spewing ignorance and do the scolding. Where we going?
Nothing much.
Cause if Martin had Twitter, if Malcolm had Twitter, to be our own people do the trolling. Spewing ignorance and do the scolding. Where we going?
Yo, how would modern day X mix with modern day tech on Black Twitter? Where him and Martin say let's get in this.
Going on with you tonight, Spicy?
After going live, sowing lies about him, why he trying to say black lies, trying to heal us, but he didn't heal, so they don't feel him. 140 characters of hate trying to kill him. Why's a message from a dead person resonate more? Got us using technology just to separate more and weaponizing all our insecure thoughts. Propaganda muddying the life from the pure source. Will Marcus Garvey be allowed to demonize too? Character assassination is a legalized tool. You think you're being smart, you're getting penalized too. Mass media scheming just to gentrify truth. And the coon is in the pudding. We identify who be doing the dividing. Then I take it back to my roots.
All I wanna say is that we're giving it away. Soul ain't for sale, and the devil is a fake. Argue it in silence, but don't let it steal our faith.
Trying to see if they'll let the notifications go out.
What's
What's up, Rachel? Found your way back. You had to get find a good spot to broadcast because I was in a horrible area. So,
where we going?
but we back on it.
Malcolm had Twitter. It be our own people do the trolling. Spewing ignorance and do the scolding. Where we going? Because if Martin had Twitter, Malcolm had Twitter.
Hey, shut the hell up, you black son of a bitch. What's wrong with y'all? Thank God for the white man's infinite mercy, Martin Luther King. Cause if it was up to me, I'd unleash the hound and turn y'all niggas into puppet child. I was happy at the back of the bus.
All right, Lily Gal was good. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. Now, I'm going to present something to you guys that I'm very surprised hasn't come out yet. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. Haven't heard or seen anybody show this information, and it's very, it just shows how things so big can fly under the radar, and it's pretty crazy. SMTH was good. So, on December 3rd of 2019, there was a vaccine safety summit thrown by the World Health Organization, and several doctors talked about the efficacy and the safety of vaccines, and it was all caught on video, audio. They're talking about vaccines and the level of safety that goes into the vaccines and all that stuff. So, it's pretty crazy. You get people all over the place. You got these ignorant parents that tell you, you don't vaccinate your children. You got all these people that shame you for not having your children injected with chemicals. And it's mind-boggling to me that parents would even entertain the thought, without even knowing what's in them, without knowing what's going on with it. Did they test them for safety? Did they test them for carcinogenic potential, mutagenic potential, and impairment of fertility? Do we even know that? Well, it says it on the vaccine insert, okay? Section 13 of the vaccine insert tells you that it's not been tested for those things. And that's all I need for me to know that I shouldn't put that in my child or children. Yeah. Okay. Didn't get the notification? Wow. Of course not. You know, they don't send my notifications out. And they also unsubscribe my subscribers, and they have to resubscribe. So, you know, they do their little purges every now and then, and I get caught up in it all the time. Every time I get 2 or 3 subscribers, new subscribers, they'll take 4 away from me. So, obviously, my progress is slow. But I don't care. I'm going to still put this information out. I'm not discouraged. You didn't get one either, Rachel? Not surprised. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing the link. So, I mean, that's what we have to do to support creators that you enjoy. You have to share their information. You gotta hit the like button, all that stuff. So please hit that like button on your way up in here. Yeah. So now this information contains, well, this video contains information from several doctors from the World Health Organization during the Vaccine Safety Summit. So I'm just going to get into it. It's part of the Truth About Vaccines website. They have this. Now this isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't fake news. This is real shit. These are actual doctors that deal with vaccines and push them, talking about vaccine safety and how people don't trust, a growing number of people don't trust vaccines, and they're trying to talk about how to get us to trust it and all this other shit, you know. So let's get into it. Wow. Global Vaccine Safety Summit. The footage was released. I mean, look, they're hiding this shit in plain sight. And like I said, I haven't seen anybody talk about this. You know, this was brought to me by somebody. I had no idea about this summit. No one's talking about this summit. So we're going to get right into it. How do your child get measles from... Exactly. If the vaccine is safe and effective, why are you worried about my child, right? My child can't get your child sick if your child's vaccinated, right? So don't worry about my child. It's ridiculous. You know, I ask parents that all the time. Oh, keep your child if you ain't vaccinated. Your child's vaccinated. So therefore, the vaccine is so effective, you shouldn't worry about it. Your child will never ever get sick because it's so effective. Anyway, let me start this video. Now I'm gonna have to talk through it. Wait a minute, what's going on here? What the hell? Oh, here we go. Cameras captured the top health officials admitting they don't know if vaccines are safe. Now this is part of the video, okay?
There's a lot of safety science that's needed.
Pay attention.
Without the good science, we can't have good communication. So although I'm talking about all these other contextual issues and communication issues, it absolutely needs the science as the backbone. You can't repurpose the same old science to make it sound better if you don't have the science that's relevant to the new problem. So we need much more investment in safety science.
I think we cannot overemphasize the fact that we really don't have very good safety monitoring systems in many countries, and this adds to communication. And
we need much more investment in safety science.
Listen to what Dr.
Overemphasize the fact that we really don't have very good safety monitoring systems in many countries, and this adds to the
What did she say? They don't have very good safety monitoring systems in many countries in regards to vaccines. Interesting.
And the misapprehensions, because we're not able to give clear-cut answers when people ask questions about the deaths that have occurred due to particular vaccine, and this always gets
very good stuff. Listen, pay
safety
attention.
Monitoring systems in many countries, and this adds to the miscommunication and the misapprehensions, because we're not able to give clear-cut answers when people ask questions about the deaths that have occurred due to particular vaccine, and this always gets blown up in the media.
You hear that?
One should many countries, and this adds to the miscommunication and the misapprehensions, because we're not able to give clear-cut answers when people ask questions about the deaths that have occurred due to particular vaccine, and this always gets blown up in
The deaths that have occurred due to certain vaccines, they are admitting right now, the World Health Organization doctors, one doctor in particular right now, just said that there are vaccine deaths. There are deaths that are caused by vaccines. What was it? I learned my lesson about vaccines after my oldest son damn near died. I'm sorry to hear that. That's crazy. Had to have emergency surgery and has a lifelong injury to his leg because of the 4th month. Wow. Yeah, see, that's crazy. Why would you need monitoring system if it's efficient? Exactly. What was it? Let's continue.
media. One should be able to give a very factual account of what exactly has happened and what the cause of deaths are. But in most cases, there's some obfuscation at that level, and therefore there's less and less trust then in the system.
Less and less trust in the system. You goddamn
time
right.
that there is an association, be it temporal or not temporal, the first accusation is it is the adjuvant. And yet without adjuvants, we are not going to have the next generation of vaccines. And many of the vaccines that we do have.
An adjuvant, like an aluminum-based adjuvant, and aluminum is a neurotoxin.
Ranging from tetanus through to HPV, require adjuvants in order for them to work. So the challenge that we have in front of us is, how do we build confidence in this? And the confidence, first of all, comes from the
How do we build confidence in the vaccines that are known to cause injuries and death? Why would you want to build confidence in something like that? Why would you want to build confidence in a poison? What was it?
Agencies, to Marianne. When we add an adjuvant, it's because it is essential. We do not add adjuvants to vaccines because we want to do so. But when we add them, it adds to the complexity. And I give courses every year on how do you develop vaccines, how do you make vaccines. And the first lesson is, while you're making your vaccine, if you can avoid using an adjuvant, please do so. Lesson 2 is, if you're going to use an adjuvant, use one that has a history of safety. And lesson 3 is, if you're not going to do that, think very carefully.
Think very carefully.
It seems
about
to me that adjuvants multiply the immunogenicity of the antigens that they are added to, and that is their intention. It seems to me they multiply the reactogenicity in many instances, and therefore it seems to me that it is not unexpected if they multiply the incidence of adverse reactions that are associated with the antigen but may not have been detected through lack of statistical power. That it is not unexpected if they multiply the incidence of adverse reactions that are associated with the antigen but may not have been detected through lack of statistical power in the original.
He just said that the adjuvants can multiply the adverse reactions to the antigen. Do you understand? Multiply. So they're again admitting that there's adverse reactions to the antigen itself, but adjuvants multiply that reaction, that adverse reaction. So is this the sunken cost fallacy? Well, the antigen is going to cause an adverse reaction anyway. So it doesn't matter if we add an adjuvant that's going to multiply the adverse reaction. What kind of shit is this? You see what we're dealing with? These are people that come together to decide what, make decisions on the safety of the poison that they're giving to us. Just like Congress gets together and decides what's going to happen to everyone else, and we put these people in power. We vote these people into power. We choose rulers over someone else, and they get together and they make decisions about what we can and can't do in the world. All right. I don't know about y'all, man, but I don't dig that. I don't dig it. I don't dig it, baby. Let's keep going. The hell?
Original.
Here we go.
You are correct. As we add adjuvants, especially some of the more recent adjuvants, such as the AS01, sapin and derived adjuvants, we do see increased local reactogenicity. The primary concern, though,
Pay attention to this.
usually is systemic adverse events rather than local adverse events. And we tend to get in the phase 2 and the phase 3 studies quite good data on the local reactogenicity. Those of us in this room that are beyond the age of 50 who've had the pleasure of having the recent shingles vaccine will know that this does have quite significant local reactogenicity. If you got the vaccine, you know that you got the vaccine. But this is not the major health concern. The major health concern which we are
Tell us
seeing
what it is.
are accusations of long-term effects. So to come back to this, I'm going to once again point to the regulators.
Megan
It comes
P. was
down
good.
to ensuring that we conduct the phase 2 and the phase 3 studies with adequate size and with appropriate measurement.
So in our clinical trials, we are actually using relatively small sample sizes.
So they do know that these vaccines cause adverse reactions, right? Yet they still push this shit on us. Oh, we know that these vaccines cause adverse reactions, right? And we know that adding an adjuvant to it is going to multiply that adverse reaction. But we still going to say that you guys should get vaccinated. Tell me where that makes sense. It doesn't make much of it. Princess Diana in the house was good. Oh man, this is good stuff right here, y'all.
When we do that, we're at risk of tyranny of small numbers, which is you just need a single case of Wegener's granulomatosis and your vaccine has to solve Walt's. How do you prove a null hypothesis? And it takes years and years to try to figure that out. So it's a real conundrum, right? Getting the right size, dealing with the tyranny of small numbers, making sure that you can.
The tyranny of
I
small
think one
numbers.
of the things that we
Interesting.
really need to invest in are kind of better biomarkers, better mechanistic understanding of how these
Good,
things
Princess
work,
Diana.
so we can better understand.
They should kill
adverse
They should
events
kill
as they come
vaccines,
up.
period.
One of the additional issues that complicates safety evaluation is if you look at and you struggle with the length of follow-up that should be adequate in a, let's say, pre-licensure or even post-marketing study, if that's even possible. And again, as you mentioned, pre-licensure clinical trials may not be powered enough. It's also the subject population that you administer the adjuvant to, because we've seen data presented to us where an adjuvant, a particular adjuvant added to a vaccine antigen did really nothing when administered to a certain population, and it's usually the elderly, compared to administering the same formulation to younger age strata. So these are things which need to be considered as well and further complicate safety and effectiveness evaluation of adjuvants combined with vaccine antigens.
I cast back my mind to our situation
Now
in
y'all
Nigeria,
hear what she said?
where at 6 weeks,
Now, children are going to be more greatly affected by these adjuvants. Yet they want us to put 70 different types of vaccines in our children by a certain age. They push the vaccines on the children more, yet the children have more adverse reactions to the goddamn adjuvant. And not to mention also the antigen itself. I mean, it's all bad, You should see all the people who went to the protest. Great. I should. Facts. I was so shocked that the docs actually expected me to continue vaccine. Yeah, it's crazy. Because they don't care about your child's life. They don't care. They want to continue to push these vaccines. They don't. Come on. I mean, this is ridiculous, y'all.
14 weeks, a child is being given different antigens from different companies. and these vaccines have different adjuvants, different preservatives, and so on. Something crosses my mind. Is there a possibility of these adjuvants, preservatives, cross-reacting amongst themselves? Have there ever been a study on the possibility of cross-reactions from the panel members that you can share the experience with us?
Now, the only way to tease that out is if you...
He just asked if there was a study done about cross, interactions between adjuvants and preservatives, right? That's a good question. Now, that was a doctor from Nigeria.
Had a large population database like the Vaccine Safety Data Link, as well as some of the other national databases that are coming to being, where the actual vaccine exposure is tracked down to that level of specificity of who is the manufacturer, what is the lot number, et cetera, et cetera. And there's initiative to try to make the vaccine label information barcoded so that it includes that level of information, so that in the future, when we do these type of studies, we're able to tease that out. And in order to as each time you subdivide, then the sample size gets becoming more and more challenging, and that's what I said earlier today about that we're really only in the beginning of the era of large data
right back on my
sets,
feet.
where hopefully you could start to harmonize the databases for multiple studies. And there's actually a initiative underway. Helen there may want to comment on it, to try to get more national vaccine safety database linked together so we could start to answer these type of questions that you just raised.
The other thing that's a trend,
you know what's funny? They're just now starting to decide to gather data on vaccines and the safety of them, because there's so many questions. Wouldn't you want to test all this stuff, do studies, test it on all this shit before you require it to be administered to children? Why would you wait decades and decades to start saying, oh, well, you know what, we need to start collecting data on the reactions to these vaccines? Why are you waiting until all these people die, all these children are injured, all these children die, all these questions are asked? Why would you wait? HPV is a sex-related disease. How about every little girl is not at risk? Yeah, like they give it to them at age 14, right? Or around age 14, 13, when they reach adolescence. Why would they do that? What is the HPV vaccine doing to these young girls during this stage of adolescence? Why? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. We all got chicken pox. You don't die from chicken pox. You rarely die from measles. Come on. I mean, it's ridiculous. Let's keep going. It's almost done, y'all. Oh, come on.
And an issue is not just confidence in providers, but confidence of healthcare providers. We have a very wobbly health professional frontline that is starting to question vaccines and the safety of vaccines. When the frontline professionals are starting to question, or they don't feel like they have enough confidence about the safety to stand up to it, to the person asking them the questions. I mean, most medical school curriculums, even nursing curriculums, I mean, in medical school, you're lucky if you have a half day on vaccines, never mind.
A half of a day on vaccines? You go to medical school where you're supposed to learn how to heal people, how to take care of people, right? How to get rid them of disease and take care of them. And these doctors spend half their day pushing vaccines on the children, pushing vaccines on the parents, threatening to call CPS and all this other shit, threatening people, getting mad when you say, no, I don't want to give my child that injection. And they only spend half a day on vaccines, yet they spend 50% of their career administering vaccines. Where they do that at? In a government ruled society, that's where they do that at. Your daughter's studying immunology? Yeah, it's very scary. Cassie C, was good. How you doing? Welcome. Because their jobs are to push whatever. Exactly. But they spend half a day on vaccines. Half a day. And they push, 50% of their day is spent. Come on. Every time I go to the doctor, have you been vaccinated? Have your child been vaccinated? Blah, blah. Oh, this is why you should be vaccinated. Then they have this big ass pamphlet with lies on it. It's supposed to answer commonly asked questions. It's lies, y'all. It's lies. It's just ridiculous. And half a day. And they're talking about this because just now, healthcare providers are starting to lose confidence in the vaccinations. That might be a good sign, y'all. That's pretty much a good sign that, look, doctors are even now starting to you would think that they, from jump, want to question it, but they're just now starting to question it. And this is why this is coming up. It's not because they want to keep us safe, right? They're talking about the safety. They're not talking about how to make the vaccine safer, right? Because they can't. You heard the man, right? In the beginning. For many of these vaccines, you have to have the adjuvant in order for it to work. Right? But it doesn't work. That's the whole point. Or it does work in a way that they wanted to, that we're not privy to. But we should have the common sense to understand. It works with the adjuvant. Oh, yes, it does. It works like it's supposed to. The adjuvant is supposed to make you sick. The adjuvant is supposed to cause problems. Long-term, local, systemic, otherwise. They're talking about it right now. All this information, all the information you need to know about vaccines are right here in this video. You don't need to know what's in it. You don't need to know what they use for the adjuvant. You don't need to know none of that. They're sitting up here telling you, they told you that vaccines cause injuries and death. They're telling you that there's not enough testing being done. They're telling you there's not enough studies out there having been done for these vaccines. But I tell you what, I think there has been studies and tests done. They just don't want to tell us what it is. They don't want to tell us the results of these tests because they know we wouldn't want to take these damn vaccines. If they tell you the truth about what vaccines do, then parents would be all up in an uproar. Oh, they would have problems, but that's not what they want. Okay, so they're going to tell you, oh, it hasn't been tested. They have. Come on. No, come on. Miss Meat was good. Ain't no way they don't know. They test that shit. Miss Meat, opioids and vaccines are the biggest money. Yeah. Period. Come on. Come on. This is almost done. We got 20 seconds of this video. This video's out here, y'all.
Keeping up to date with all this.
If top health officials in the world are questioning the safety of vaccines, why aren't you? That's what the end of this video asks. Right? I don't know if y'all can see it. Great question. Why aren't you? Right? Not you guys in particular, but parents in general. Why aren't they questioning this shit? You know why? Because they've been taught not to question. They've been taught to go along to get along. You don't question authority. You don't question my authority. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. You don't question authority. You do what you're told. You know what I mean? You go to school for 12 years, and during that 12 years, you're being indoctrinated to be order followers. But that's not what that's not what being a human being is all about. Humans are naturally rebellious, We naturally ask questions. My children ask questions all the time. You think I'm gonna stop them from asking questions? I have authority over my children, and that's about it. But even then, when they ask questions or when they make suggestions, you encourage that, right? And you answer the questions. If you can't answer the question, then you tell them. So why are we less inquisitive than our children when it comes to government and what the government is doing? And right now in California, who the hell is calling me? Oh, I'll call you back. Why are we? This is ridiculous. I mean, the government is pushing vaccines on us. In the state of California, there are no medical exemptions any longer unless you go through a state functionary. Your doctor has to send the information as to why you're exempt from the vaccine. You have to your doctor has to send that to the state. Now it has to be approved by the state. You see what I'm saying? Oh, if you want to send your child to school, you have to have your children injected with poison. And if you don't want them injected with poison, your doctor has to give you a medical exemption. In order for that medical exemption to be approved, we have to approve the exemption your doctor gives. Like, it's ridiculous, man. And what does that involve? What are you going to have to do? Are you going to have to take your doctor to a state doctor, or take your child to a state employed doctor? Like, what's the extent? What's next? Yeshua was returned. I should need approval from exactly. You should need approval from a master. You know what I'm saying? And that's the society we live in. This vaccine shit is the perfect example of why we do not need government. Period. Because every time there is a government, they want more and more. The people in charge of government are going to want more and more power all the time. Every day they're making new laws to take more freedoms away from you and to transfer power to themselves. That's all it's about. You can't help it. You become you become a government official. That's your job. Your job is to make sure that you rule over the people. You make decisions for them. You get together, you make laws that will affect their lives. And then you have road pirate enforcers, known as police officers, used as government muscle to make sure you are following the law. To make sure you're not committing a so-called crime, right? Real crimes, 9 times out of 10, police officers aren't stopping real crimes. You understand what I'm saying? But they will stop your ass for a fake ass crime, right? Like a rolling stop at a stop sign. If you do a rolling stop at a stop sign and you hit no one, right? You haven't hit anybody, you haven't hit a car, you haven't caused a collision, you haven't done anything to anybody. There's no victim, right? But they'll still pull you over. The road pirates, known as police officers, will pull you over if you perform a rolling stop at a stop sign, and they will extort you. They will give you a ticket. You have to go to court. You got to go to traffic school if you want to point on you. It's just ridiculous. That's the point. That's the function of government, to extract as much the fiat currency, Federal Reserve banking system. See what I'm saying? That's the function of government, is to extract resources, to extort the people, to control the people, to transfer power from the people to themselves. That is the point of government. There's no two ways about it. Okay? Take Virginia for example. Pay us or die. Exactly. Or they will come to your house. They will send agents or police officers to your house and force you by gunpoint to do what they want you to do. Okay? And take for instance what's going on in Virginia. All right? Take for instance what's going on in Virginia. All right? If a Democrat becomes the governor of Virginia, and because there's going to be a rally or a rally on Monday, a pro Second Amendment or a pro gun right rally, he wants to declare a state of emergency so that he can pass a temporary law to ban guns in the state capitol. Okay? Now, before you were able to carry inside the state capitol building. So not only did he ban guns from inside the building, but also on the grounds around the building and even the entire freaking city. So now it's illegal to open carry or conceal carry in Richmond, Virginia, where this thing is going on Monday. But here's the kicker. All right. Now, this is the perfect example of government overreach. Not only is he banning guns, can y'all tell me what else he's banning for 3 days? Supposedly just 3 days in the state capitol. Not just guns. Not just guns. Y'all give up yet? All right, I'm gonna tell you. No more suspense. Shields and helmets. Not only is he banning guns, but also shields and helmets. Shields and helmets are designed to protect your person. So not only, but you don't use shields and helmets to hurt other people. You use shields and helmets to stop harm from happening to yourself. They pass entire laws in certain states that you have to, if your child is skateboarding or riding a bike, your child has to wear a helmet for their safety. But this dude is saying, nah, you can't wear helmets and shields. Nah, pimpin'. You can't wear helmets, and you can't bring a shield or a helmet. It's illegal now. It's going to be banned in Richmond, Virginia, right? When this rally happens. So they don't even want you to protect yourself. So according to Blackface Northam, certain white nationalist groups made threats on the state capitol and all this other shit, threatening violence. I call bullshit. Where's the evidence of this? Anyway, so if you're saying that groups are threatening violence in Richmond, you're going to take away people's ability to protect themselves with a shield and helmet. So now, if this group is threatening violence, you think they care about a ban on guns? No. If they're really a threat, if they're really threatening violence and they mean to act on it, then they're not going to give a fuck about a goddamn ban. No, they're going to bring that shit anyway. And if they really wanted to cause harm, they would do it anyway. They don't care about a ban. So now you're saying the people that did follow the law, that did obey your edicts, they're going to not be protected with a helmet and shield. So now they can suffer greater harm than they would have if they were able to carry a shield and helmet. This dude banned a shield and helmet. And I'm going to tell you, it's not because he's worried. I'm going to tell you why. It's because he wants his enforcers to be able to cause harm to the crowd, okay? Because if you wear a shield and helmet up there, and you know you're going to be protected from government violence to a degree. Now, the shield and helmet is not going to protect you from all attacks, no. But this is the whole thing. They want to make us victims. They want to make us vulnerable to their attacks if they so choose to attack us. And that's the whole point behind a gun ban. It's not about the safety of others. It's about making us vulnerable to government violence. That's all it is to it. And common sense tells you that if he doesn't want you to wear a shield and a helmet at a rally, That tells you right there, he doesn't want you to be safe. It's not about your safety. Also, please don't delete or hide my comments. I delete. Wait, what's going on here? Wrenches aren't always used for First Amendment reasons. What's going on here? Everything going to be banned. They want everyone working 24/7. Yeah, I don't know. One of my comments seems to have been hidden. What was the comment? Now, so this whole vaccine thing, the vaccine, this video that I just played for you, that should be enough for us to say, oh no, hell no, you're not going to force this on us. Now, if you're one of those parents that feel like your child should be vaccinated, go on, handle your business. Even if you get this information and you still decide, yo, I'm going to still vaccinate my child, whatever. That's your choice. Now, if your child, people speak on it, you just committed. If something happens to your child,